Well, thank you for joining us. We are continuing to track Tropical Storm Gordon. Latest stats with this storm: wind speed 65 miles per hour, central pressure 1,004 millibars, and still moving to the west and northwest 15 miles per hour. So we are expecting this to be impacting the Gulf Coast. And what we're going to do now is we're going to be joined by somebody who's, I think, very busy today. Ken Graham, the director at the National Hurricane Center. Ken, we appreciate you joining us here on WeatherNation. And we're curious, and I think a lot of the viewers at home curious, are you seeing anything in the light of day? It's getting a better handle maybe on this system. What are you seeing with Tropical Storm Gordon?
Hey, Patrick, good morning. Yeah, we're keeping an eye on it. We've had several aircraft out in Gordon today, really trying to get a fix on the center. But we're seeing a lot of the rainfall, and mainly on the east side of Gordon, kind of lopsided right now. But some of these rain bands are already starting to make their way onshore. You know, so we're starting to see the rainfall move in, and that's going to end up being one of the bigger stories. There's a short window to possibly become a hurricane, but you know, I've been saying all morning and continue to say, whether it's a hurricane or a tropical storm, you're still going to have these big impacts from all this rain and also some of the storm surge. Yeah,
we don't want the viewers at home to let their guard down. If they don't think it's going to be a hurricane, then maybe it's not going to be a situation. No. But we know better. We're trying to warn the viewers at home that you definitely need to be prepared for this. And we are curious, again, the heavy rain threat, you were talking about that, and the storm surge threat, that's going to be there. Is there a particular area that the National Hurricane Center is focusing on for those risks?
You know, we're really looking at one of the big messages we're trying to talk about is, you know, we always think about these tropical systems being, you know, a coastal event, and they are. You're going to see some of the heaviest rainfall, 4 to possibly 8 inches of rain along the coast, getting into the Mobile, getting into the Alabama coastline, into Mississippi, and also all the way inland. You're looking at Arkansas seeing some of those high values as well. So that's a lot of rain. Some areas could see up to 12 inches of rain. But the other message is, you know, inland rain is one of the bigger killers in these tropical systems. And looking northward, that tropical moisture flows north, and you're actually seeing some of it in Iowa and Nebraska and into the Great Lakes area. So that's one of the big threats. Heavy rain is going to be a threat. You don't just have to be coastal to see that. And I did want to make a note. We talk about the storm surge and getting a lot of calls asking for some clarification. Not everybody's going to see those values. In the warning area from Shell Beach over to the east end of Dauphin Island, you could see 3 to 5 foot of storm surge. But if you notice on this map, not everybody sees that. Right along your immediate beach, you could see that, and where places where the water gets trapped up in areas where Diamond Head, right in some of those wetlands, the coastal estuaries, you can see some of those values. So you can see where the water gets trapped in some of these areas, the Back Bay of Biloxi. Some of that, people could see 3 to 5 feet in some of those areas, but not everybody sees that. So trying to clarify the storm surge threat, and that's one of the other threats. The rainfall, the storm surge, water is really what we got to be really paying attention to here.
Absolutely. And so if people who are watching at home, maybe they're a little scared, a little worried about, you know, how things are going to be shaping up in just a few hours and into the afternoon and evening. What are some tips or some advice that you would give those viewers who are at home kind of braving for this storm?
Yeah, I know it really is. You know, really respect the water as this come in. You know, whether it's a tropical storm or a hurricane, it's the water, the storm surge, and the rainfall. So if you're in one of those traditional areas, and a lot of people know, you know, where they are in association with a traditional area where it floods, just be ready to seek higher ground. And if it's a place that floods frequently, you may want to be somewhere else and not even be there in the first place. So that's what we got to think of. Know your risk. If you're in one of those areas that is flood prone, you may need to start looking at somewhere else to be and really pay attention to this as the rainfall begins over the next few hours.
Great information, Ken. We appreciate you joining us here on WeatherNation. You've been joining us all morning long, giving out all this great information. And of course, we know you're very busy, and we appreciate all the hard work you and everybody there at the National Hurricane Center is doing.
All right. Thank you all for getting the information out. I appreciate that.
All right. Have a good one, Ken. All right, Shelley. So we are talking about what is happening with Tropical Storm Gordon. You heard Ken talking about that risk of some heavy rain and some flooding. We got a lot of warnings that have already been placed there along the Gulf Coast that we need to keep an eye on.